That's right, Copic doesn't just make overly priced but high quality fine liners, overly priced and subpar whiteout, and really good but still overly priced fine liners. They also make overly priced and we haven't yet determined fountain pens. So let's go ahead and roll that intro and give this a shot. You know, as someone who actually likes Prisma more, I have a surprisingly big amount of Copics. Oh well. Now, before you say anything, yes, I do know that the set looks a little different, and that's because normally there's a blanket covering that window right there, but I am washing it right now and decided to film because my house is being quiet for the first time and I don't know when. So we're just gonna ignore the slightly looking different set. If you guys like this more, maybe we'll do it more, I don't know, we'll see. But what are we doing today? Well, we're taking a look at this Copic Drawing Pen. This thing sells for $9 on Amazon. A whole $9 for one pen. Now, I would be shocked by this, but this is Copic. We know how insane their prices can be. And I saw this, I just had to give it a shot. It is their drawing pen. It has a fountain head, so I thought right there, I'm already interested. It is apparently Copic proof, and this is the F02 version. There is an F03 version, so you get slightly thicker lines. I just went with this, and I am really excited to be giving this a test. So let's go ahead and break out our Batman sketchbook. Oh wait, this is our last page in the Batman sketchbook. Oh, so we better make this count. Now, first off, right off the bat, this thing does not have a good flow to it, and I don't really feel like I have a lot of pressure control, so it looks like my lines are going to stay one consistently. Very interesting, as I was not expecting that. I was expecting it to have a little variety, especially with this type of head design. So is this just for show? If so, then why don't I just use a normal Copic fine liner? Either way, it does feel smooth, just not good ink flow, if that makes sense. When the ink flows, it's smooth. It doesn't flow that well, so I am already a little disappointed with some of the results I'm getting, especially with this head. I mean, I was expecting to get some line variety, I was expecting to get some line control, but that's just not the case. I am not able to actually go in and get that. And to me, why would I use this opposed to a fine liner? Because the fine liner is going to let me draw in multiple directions. I'm able to get a little more use out of it than this, especially with the ink flow, because that ink right there, it's very gray, and I don't like that. Now, one thing I am curious is how Copic marker proof is it. That's one of the things that advertises not only on the website and on the Amazon listing, also on the actual product itself. So let's go ahead and grab a Copic marker. I'm going to grab my red, crimson red. This is the R26. Let's go ahead and give it a test. I think it's dried enough. Yeah, it most certainly is Copic marker proof. Now, is it just Copic marker proof, or is it also just general alcohol marker proof? So I'm actually going to grab a red Prisma pencil. These are my actual favorite markers of all time. Let's give it a test. Use this head right here. And yeah, it definitely is. So I think this is a good alternative for those who like to use alcohol markers. This is a great way to actually use them without worrying about bleeding, because that is a serious problem that can happen. I have been there many times where I've done a piece and it starts to bleed and smudge when I start using alcohol markers. So that's interesting. Now, right off the bat, I am really just not liking this pen. First off, this is the packaging it came in. Nothing. It just came in an Amazon container. So right there, kind of loses some points. You know, I expected a little more from this. But it's the fact that there's not a good ink flow, that you're not going to be able to get a good consistent flow, because you could see when I start drawing, it's not going to do it now that I'm complaining about it, but you saw here, when I went to make my line, it didn't start till right here, so you know, I don't like that. I want a good consistent ink flow, and to me, especially with the design of this head, if you're not going to give me the ability to have line control and variety, then just give me a normal fine liner point, so I can at least draw in all directions. I mean, I could do this cool kind of gray hatching, which could actually, you could do something with that. I don't know, it just seems kind of pointless. Like, this seems more like a luxury item than an actual good drawing item. But either way, the only way to test that out is to do an illustration, and today's illustration is going to be a little special. Today's illustration is of Dare, which is always a fun character to draw on the channel, and his design just leans it far more towards actual technical pens and drawing pens, as he incorporates more cross-hatching in his design. I also am not 100% sure of how much ink is actually in this pen, so instead of doing a larger scale piece and possibly with the chance of leaving it unfinished, I decided to go with this smaller scale. I will also allow myself to use these Copic multi-purpose fine liners. They're all brush nibs, times, and that will let me get some good strong areas of black in a piece. They are Copic marker proof, and we will be testing that by actually going in and coloring in this piece. This is also the first time that we've seen Polder with his hood down. I drew him a little more battle damage, like he's been through a huge fight, ready to just keep going. I kind of like that aspect, and you get to see his eyes more normal, opposed to the normal white eyes that I like to give him. And the last thing I want to mention before we jump into that time lapse is that this piece was actually inspired by another piece. I did use a photo reference, so here's the picture. I don't know who actually took the picture, so I can't give full proper credit. I just found it on Pinterest, so I figured, hey, at least mention it so that people don't accuse me of swiping, because I ain't about that life. But with all that said, let's go ahead and dive into our super time lapse. So this is a first for the channel, and I am kind of stunned by it. The pen stopped working. I'm not even halfway done with the face, and it straight up will not work. I don't know why. I thought maybe it was the Bristol board, so I pulled out 2 different sheets of paper because I have this like softer, more normal paper for a sketchbook that I use just for like random pieces. Then I tried this acetone-free paper, and the Bristol board's obviously not working. I am very confused. I've never had this happen before, so we're actually gonna put the drawing aside. I'm actually wondering if I should even just finish it, because yeah, and let's do something we've never done before and actually take this thing apart and see what's inside. Also, my dad is mowing the lawn, if you can hear him, but it should be fine. There's a little ink. That's it. This is a complete disappointment. I don't even know how to react to this, because I was expecting this to like not be good, but just be okay. But it's not even bad. It's just unusable. Ronyo, man, I expected more from Copic. This is a disaster. The flow is horrible, and I think this is why right here. If I look here, this piece is not centered because of this design. Now, this is actually going to be basically your wick for the most part. I don't know the full technical term, but essentially this is the part of the pen that goes into the actual ink cartridge. That's really what this is, and it's supposed to be able to pull ink from it, but this is just plastic. There's really nothing that would, there's no grooves, there's nothing that would help it absorb the ink to get the ink flow, so no wonder it just caved out and stopped working. This nib design is not that good at all. If you bring out the zebra one, first off, its design is very different, where the bar, I've actually taken these things apart, the little ink spout here, the little almost barred rib has indentions in it, and it actually is designed to really help pull the ink in. It's frailed, it also is not made out of solid plastic, and the design of this is really nice because even though this doesn't give you a lot of line variety, you're still able to get a little bit, and on top of that, very good fountain pen. I actually really like Zebra Friends. I did a review of this like years ago. This is garbage. This is hot trash, and the fact that Copic charged $9 for this is absolutely absurd. They should be ashamed of themselves because this is absolutely highway robbery. And for the first time ever on the channel, I'm giving this a 0 on my scale of 1 to 10. That's right, this thing is getting a 0. We're not gonna make art with it because, I mean, what am I gonna do with this? There's literally nothing I can do. This thing is just garbage. It's so bad. So you know what? We're just not even gonna with this. We're done. Gets a 0 out of 10. Copic, I am very disappointed in you. This is gonna be the thumbnail because of how bad this product is.